For almost 2,000 years, an institution with almost no territory, no elections, and no standing army has influenced kingdoms, empires, presidents, and billions of believers. It rules from a city smaller than a square mile, yet its reach extends into parliaments, courts, classrooms, and consciences. We trace how a persecuted sect climbed from Rome's gutters to the highest levels of world power, and how the papacy still pulls political levers most people never see. Christianity begins as a criminal movement. Roman officials complain about secret meetings before dawn, citizens refusing to sacrifice to the emperor, and a religion that refuses to fit Rome's legal categories. Peter, by tradition, dies during Nero's persecution in 64 CE. His successors, the early bishops of Rome, hold symbolic authority, but no one in the 2nd or 3rd century mistakes them for political players. The real shift comes in 313 CE with the Edict of Milan. Constantine legalizes Christianity, and suddenly bishops manage property, receive imperial audiences, and arbitrate disputes previously handled by local officials. The Western Roman Empire collapses slowly. When everything else falls apart, people cling to the institution that stays put. But clerical stability alone doesn't make a superpower. For that, the papacy needed kings. On Christmas Day in the year 800, Pope Leo III crowns Charlemagne Emperor of the Romans. Kings rule because popes crown them. This single act gives the papacy the power to validate or invalidate the legitimacy of rulers. Throughout the Middle Ages, popes exploit this leverage. Gregory VII declares that popes can depose emperors. Conflict between Henry II and Archbishop Becket escalates to murder. Innocent III places England under interdict and forces King John to submit. Innocent writes that the Pope stands lower than God, but higher than man. By the 11th century, the Church's bureaucracy is more sophisticated than most kingdoms. Every bishop reports to Rome. Every priest channels information upward. Canon law governs marriage, burial, wills, and inheritance, areas kings rarely touched. Confession creates a moral surveillance system centuries before the word exists. The Inquisition emerges as a centralized court designed to keep doctrine uniform and prevent princes from hijacking theology for political gain. Medieval Europe is governed by the sacraments as much as by laws. The Church controls the moments that structure life: birth, marriage, death. A king could execute you. The Church claimed it could damn you. Once the papacy mastered society, it turned toward the deeper tools of empire: land and gold. In 756, the donation of Pepin grants the popes political territory, creating the Papal States and turning popes into monarchs. They collect taxes, raise armies, sign treaties, and wage wars. By 1095, when Urban II announces the First Crusade, the papacy has a geopolitical machine. Urban's call to arms blends spiritual reward with political opportunity. Redirect European violence outward, strengthen papal prestige, and carve out footholds in the East. Crusading indulgences eventually become financial instruments. By the early 1500s, indulgence sales help fund St. Peter's Basilica. Johann Tetzel's famous line about coins and souls may be embellished, but the system behind it enrages reformers. Dissent meets fire. The Inquisition interrogates heretics. Texts are banned, ideas policed. But the biggest threat to the papacy wasn't an enemy. It was the papacy itself. The Renaissance papacy is politically sophisticated and culturally brilliant, but also corrupt in ways difficult for modern viewers to overstate. The Borgia papacy under Alexander VI is accused of bribery, strategic marriages, and violent intrigue. Contemporary diaries and letters confirm widespread corruption. The Medici popes, Leo X and Clement VII, treat the papacy like a Florentine family estate. Simony becomes routine. Cardinals openly buy influence. In 1514, during one papal conclave, a Roman observer wrote simply, "He who had most money carried the day." Years of excess set the stage for disaster, and the spark arrives earlier than many realize. By the late 14th century, the papacy becomes a prize fought over by factions, kings, and nations. When Pope Gregory XI dies in 1378, Rome is volatile. Crowds gather outside the conclave demanding an Italian pope. The cardinals, many of them French, feel the pressure and elect Urban VI. At first, things seem manageable. Then, Urban changes. Reports describe him as erratic, lashing out at allies, threatening sweeping reforms, even ordering the torture of dissenting cardinals. The French faction flees to Anagni and declares his election invalid, claiming they voted under duress. They elect a rival pope, Clement VII. Suddenly, the Christian world has two popes. France, Scotland, Castile, Aragon, and Naples support Clement. England, the Holy Roman Empire, and most Italian states support Urban. Every document, every court ruling, every marriage annulment depends on which pope you recognize. Priests in the same city excommunicate each other from opposing pulpits. This lasts nearly 40 years. In 1409, the Council of Pisa attempts a solution. Depose both popes and elect a new one. Neither pope steps down, and now there are three. Finally, the Council of Constance forces two claimants to resign and removes the third. A new pope, Martin V, ends the schism, but the damage is done. If even the papacy can fracture under political pressure, its claim to divine unity looks fragile. Trust in the institution erodes, opening space for future reformers. In 1517, Martin Luther posts his 95 Theses. Corruption is the immediate issue, but the deeper wound is credibility lost during the schism. Rome responds with councils, theology, and force. The Council of Trent reforms abuses, clarifies doctrine, and centralizes authority even further. At the same time, papal authority was used to regulate and legitimize European expansion overseas. The Treaty of Tordesillas split the non-European world by a north-south line in the Atlantic. Spain claimed almost all of the Americas west of the line, while Portugal claimed lands east of it, Africa, Asia, and Brazil. Missionaries follow explorers. Papal decrees justify European claims over non-Christian lands. Missionaries like Francis Xavier in India and Japan, Matteo Ricci in China, José de Anchieta in Brazil, Bartolomé de las Casas in the Spanish Americas, and Pedro de Gante in Mexico went into colonized lands backed by imperial power and worked relentlessly to convert people to Christianity by denouncing local religions as wrong or pagan and using coercion, intimidation, cultural destruction, and outright violence when persuasion failed, forcing conversion. The Church gains global presence, but also complicity in empire. Yet global reach cannot shield the papacy from rising nationalism. By the 19th century, nation-states challenged the Pope's political rule. In 1870, Italy annexes Rome. The papacy loses the papal states and appears politically finished. Popes refuse to leave the Vatican and declare themselves prisoners. But territory can be lost. Sovereignty can be renegotiated. In 1929, the Lateran Treaty creates Vatican City as a fully sovereign state. Small, but legally untouchable. A fortified headquarters with its own bank, archives, and diplomatic status. Sovereignty wasn't a retreat, it was a reset. The Vatican Bank becomes a magnet for secrecy and scandal. In 1982, Roberto Calvi, God's banker, is found hanging from a London bridge. Investigations reveal offshore corporations, mafia ties, unaccounted millions, and links to the Vatican Bank. Even into the 21st century, investigations uncover hidden accounts and financial malpractice. In the 1930s and 1940s, as totalitarian regimes rise, the Vatican fears communism. Some clergy form uneasy relationships with fascist governments, believing they are barriers to Marxism. After the war, the Church becomes a quiet but potent Cold War actor. Certain priests help Nazi and Ustash war criminals flee Europe through the rat lines. The motivations vary, but the effect is undeniable. By the second half of the 20th century, the papacy shifts again, this time toward global influence. Modern popes wield power through diplomacy. The Vatican cooperates with Western governments during the Cold War, especially in Eastern Europe. Catholic lobbying organizations influence debates on abortion, marriage, education, bioethics, and religious freedom. In many countries, political candidates seek papal approval to sway Catholic majority voters. The Holy See maintains relations with over 180 states, rivaling major nations despite having fewer than 1,000 citizens. A city-state smaller than a mall maintains its influence with 5 long-term tools. Symbolism, a single global figure known everywhere. Bureaucracy, one of the largest educational and charitable networks on Earth. Diplomacy, neutrality that earns access others don't have. Archives and memory, centuries of documents, confessions, and secrets. And time, an institution that thinks in centuries, not election cycles. The papacy has scars: corruption, coercion, colonial complicity, financial scandals, and catastrophic misjudgments. You may not follow the Pope. You may not fear the Pope. But presidents pay attention. Movements pay attention. And history pays attention. Very few powers survive for 2 millennia. The papacy is one of them.
Thanks for watching. This is Known and Forgotten. Like, share, and subscribe for more videos like these, and see you in the next video.